What's going on? Welcome to episode 101 of the Gridiron Garage. I'm your host, Zach Curson. We have a doozy for you today. We got a lot of NFL talk coming up. Bengals, they look good. Super Bowl contenders? Maybe. We got college football, maybe some MLB talk. But I'm chilling here with my boy at J Law. What's going on, buddy?
Hanging out with my two buds, Zach Curtis over here and Griffin Wyman. What's going on?
What's good?
What's going on, Big Daddy Griff?
Well, you know,
Having a good day?
yeah, it's a beautiful day here in Northern Kentucky.
Beautiful. Nice and rainy.
He was napping 2 seconds ago.
He was.
In the podcast chair.
He was slumped.
Getting old.
We're vibing, dude. Getting old. That's funny. All right, Griff. We're gonna go ahead and drop this. It's not in the layout, but we have officially a name for your betting show. Go ahead and plug it.
We do. We said maybe an episode last week. That didn't happen. We were still getting some things together. We'll be an episode this Friday. It will come out. We're recording it Thursday night, and it is called Death, Taxes, and Bets.
Hell yeah.
Death, Taxes, and Bets. There's 3 guarantees in life, boys. Death, taxes, and our bets hitting. Death, Taxes, and Bets. Well, first episode will be out Friday. Please go give it a follow on socials. We'll obviously post some stuff on the regular channel or on the regular podcast, and we're talking about it. But please go give it a listen. I know it's kind of weird to start a pick show halfway through the NFL season. We're going to focus on mainly college football and NFL for right now, and then we're going to venture into some other stuff towards the end of the year, maybe some NBA and eventually MLB when it starts back up. We'll hit all the major sports, just some of the plays, weekly plays. So they'll come out at the end of the week, and you'll be able to get your NFL and college football bets a couple days ahead of time. So it's going to be awesome. Can't wait.
Hell yeah.
Me and then my co-host is going to be Austin Ortiz. So it's going to be awesome.
I'm pumped for it. I love the name too. Death, Taxes, and Bets.
Oh, yeah. 3 guarantees in life.
And so when you guys look at the podcast cover, it's pretty dope too. I like it.
It's got a cool picture.
It is pretty cool.
It's got a lot of followers, too.
Yeah, it does have a lot of followers. So go ahead and give it a
talk
follow.
about that?
No.
Maybe in non-sports, we can talk about it.
Yeah, we can talk about
Maybe
it.
Thursday we can talk about it.
Yeah, check us out on Thursday too, and on Tuesday. Pretty soon, dude. Every day of the week, podcast coming into your ears.
Oh yeah.
But let's. You want to go to Thursday Night Football, or you want to talk about the who's winning standings real quick?
We can go.
We'll go to Thursday Night
We'll
Football.
do Thursday Night Football, and that'll lead us straight into who's winning.
All right.
How's that?
All right.
So Thursday Night Football, this was my bet of the week. I had the Browns to cover, and the Browns fell short. Browns ended up 17, Broncos 14, winning by a field goal and just coming up that short. Short.
The worst thing was I told Jake, I was like, look at this game. I was like, it's going to end up like this, like one of those things where they just don't refuse to score a touchdown so they can win the game. And Jake's like, I hope not. And they did everything they could to not do that, and it still happened. He could have easily ran it in, just lays down, the game ends, and they just did not cover for you. That's betting, man. That's seriously betting. That's
So they needed 3.5 to cover, and they knelt on it within the 5-yard line. And they had, a 3rd and 7, and they just ran it up the middle and got it. And I was like, Broncos, come on. All you have to do is stop a run up the middle on 3rd and 7.
Yeah. They could have, they could have ran the ball in, too.
It was just how I expected, but they didn't cover. I feel like if Baker was there, they probably would have covered.
Oh, yeah.
Also, Broncos still can't beat the AFC North. They're just too tough for them.
No.
Too tough for them.
They definitely would have covered with Baker.
Also, what else was I going to say? Oh, the line the day of was -2. So if I didn't take the Monday line, if I had took the weekend line, would have won. But anyways, a loss is a loss. I'll take my lumps when I get them.
Sound like a degenerate gambler right now.
Half a point. I'll take my loss when I get them. They didn't make me look stupid, right? I didn't get beat up like the first game.
That is true.
When the Titans lost to the Jets.
Dude, I was giving you so much shit about this Brown picks because of who, everybody was out. But that first drive that Case Keenum came out and just, I don't even know who their third string running back is. What was his name?
Ernest Johnson.
Ernest Johnson. He's right there in the notes,
Oh,
Zachary.
yeah. True.
22 carries,
146 yards. That is absolutely insane for some dude who just comes off the bench and is like, you know what, I'll just throw up 146.
Came
like it's
off
nothing.
From nowhere. Did you see the DMs going by?
Yeah, so I saw that.
And so Ernest Johnson was out there DMing professional football teams saying, hey, my name is Ernest Johnson. Here, check out my tapes. I'm really interested in trying out for your practice squad and maybe making your team. And here he is coming into his first NFL game and just balling out.
So he played earlier this year and actually played well. Yeah. This is the first time he started. He was like the feature back. but he played earlier this year and actually played well.
So I think that kind of wraps up my theory on running backs is that you can just plug and play him. Would you just pick this guy up who obviously was training and trying to be as good as he can be, but you just pick him up? I mean, like any other college quarterback coming out of college, graduated and getting drafted would be like.
Could you imagine the fantasy guy that was like, oh, come on, man. Like, Ernest Johnson's the only person I have left to pick up off waivers. Like, come on. And then fucking goes off.
I think it's pretty clear. I mean, fantasy-wise, if someone's projected 15 touches, they're going to get some yards.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, if you know someone has the bulk of the carry, you're going to put them in your starting lineup almost on any team.
Think about how deep Cleveland is now with Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, and Ernest Johnson. If they were all healthy, like, that's pretty scary. If Ernest Johnson can prove that he can do that week in and week out, Baker Mayfield, I don't know. Is he going to get a max contract? Probably not. Do I see him being the quarterback at Cleveland? Yes. But, dude, Case Keenum, he should be a starter somewhere.
You think so?
I think so. I mean,
I don't have the stats out for him. He did good. It was like, 190 yards, 0 touchdowns, and
what was that one?
0 picks and maybe a touchdown.
Case Keenum was the quarterback that led the Vikings that one year.
He like 11-5 or something like that?
Something like that, but they threw the Minneapolis Miracle and Stephon Diggs scored a touchdown. Yeah, he was the quarterback that season.
I mean, say what you want. I mean, you can put... I mean, I guess you got to have a system in place for the guy. Like, if you put him on the Jets, Case Keenum probably still does bad, but I don't know. I mean, I think that the Browns...
Real quick, sorry to bother, but I got some breaking news
Breaking news on the pod.
Involving college football. I just got to say this. So, according to Action Network HQ, ex-NFL coach and USC alumni Jeff Fisher is in the mix for the USC head coaching position, along with former USC quarterback Carson Palmer, Penn State's head coach James Franklin, Iowa State's coach Matt Campbell, and Cincinnati coaches Luke Fickell, and Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin are the shortlist for the candidates of the USC head coaching job. This is Brett McMurphy that tweeted this. He was a college football insider guy.
One, why would Mike Tomlin leave the Steelers?
I don't know, man. I'm just telling you, this is what Brett McMurphy said. I don't know if any of these are going to come to fruition, but Jeff Fisher's on the list too, which is really weird. He hasn't coached in a while. Jeff Fisher.
Was he the last time, like when they were in St. Louis for the Rams?
Yeah, so he was St. Louis Rams. He drafted Jared Goff.
So he went to LA.
That was his last year. No, he didn't cover coach in LA. Okay. He went first year in LA and they got Sean McVay. But still, that's kind of a wild coaching candidate.
Two questions. Has Carson Palmer coached before? Mm-mm. You're just going to wing it and say he played quarterback?
Scratch that. So they asked Carson Palmer, and Carson Palmer said these are the candidates for the list. He's not a candidate. Okay. I read it wrong. My bad. But the other ones are James Franklin.
Whoa, dude, that's ballsy.
Yeah. James Franklin, Matt Campbell, Luke Fickell, and Mike Tomlin, along with Jeff Fisher, are some of the head coaching candidates for the USC job. That's pretty wild, though.
You know anything about coaching? I don't know. I'd probably be good at it.
I can give it a try.
I'm also the guy that's been preaching for the Purdue to just hire Mike Allstott as their head coach. So, but to be fair, he's been coaching high school football for the past 15 years and been dominant in high school football ever since he retired. So
that's high school, but still. Experience.
If you think that, Carson Palmer played for a shitty franchise, but you don't think that he could walk in there and put a game plan together and hire a coaching staff? Yeah,
he knows football. Yeah,
I think he would do.
Does he know coaching? He'd have to learn it.
Right?
Would you want to learn it on a scale that big? Probably not.
Probably not. I mean, that's way different than me walking in and be like, "Hey, man, you guys hiring?"
Yeah, I think if you put him in a scenario where he didn't have to recruit and do that process of things, if he just did the football on the field practice game plan in game situations, he'd probably be really good at it.
So the one thing I'll say, obviously, coaching NFL is way different than coaching college. Coaching college, you get guys for a max of 4, maybe 5 years if they redshirt, and then you're just constantly recruiting. It's like nonstop drafting essentially, right? You're nonstop recruiting high school players. So it's a little bit different. Obviously, I think with that, James Franklin, Luke Fickell, and Matt Campbell probably the inside edge. If they just want to get someone who's done it in college and done really well in college, they can recruit. And USC kind of gets a leg up in recruiting just because they're USC, especially out on the West Coast. But even though they've been kind of crappy recently, I think it'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to see Jeff Fisher and Mike Tomlin. Seriously,
what's the pay difference from NFL head coach to college head coach?
It depends on the job. I mean, it's definitely you get paid more in the NFL for sure. I mean. You just go to. I mean,
Mike Tomlin's making more than Seggy $8 million a year.
I want to say he was making.
I don't know. I'd have to look it up. You definitely make more. I mean, we'll put it this way: John Gruden was 10 years, $100 million, so he's making $10 million a year, and he was one of the highest, probably the highest paid head coach. I think it just depends where you go. Seriously, I mean, USC has enough money to pay basically what they want to get their guy. You know what I mean? I know you talked about the $3 million or whatever, but if they really wanted to get Mike Tomlin, they could afford to pay him $8 million if they wanted to, which would be a lot of money.
Mike Tomlin makes $8 million this year.
So I don't know.
But Nick Saban makes like $6 million, so
yeah.
But he's also like the top tier.
Nick Saban probably doesn't spend a single dime in the entire town he lives in, though. Right. He probably just walks in and they just give him whatever he wants, you know?
Anyway, so since I took the hard beating with the Browns kneeling on the ball on the 5-yard line and took the loss this week, Zach Curtis is in first place in the 10,000 calorie McDonald's eating challenge at 4-1 against the spread, which actually is really, really good.
Yeah, good job, Zach.
If you were betting money, you'd be up pretty good right now.
Yeah, thank you.
I am sitting in second place at 3-2, and the betting show host Griffin Wyman at 2-3.
Yeah,
you sure you want to take his bets?
Taking lumps.
I definitely second guessed myself last week. It was dumb. Not second guessing myself this week. I even said on the pod I'm going to take Oakland. I was like, no, I think the Panthers. I think Giants suck. Turns out the Panthers really suck.
What did I say in the group message? That's why you bet against good teams.
Well, you're high. You're high. You're on a 4-1. It's not going to last.
I'm just saying. Dude, my pick that I will say, my pick is hitting.
It would be pretty wild if Zach go the whole year with one loss. I would genuinely say, Zach, you're dumb for not betting these picks because you're on a hot streak that's like no other. So,
all right, Jake, what are you sticking on the topic? What's your bet for this week? Have you looked at the lines?
Sticking on the topic
because I literally just looked at the lines.
Let me pull the line.
That's what I like
for
about
the game that I like.
Don't pick my game. Why don't you go to next week?
Shit, you're right. That's why I can't find the game.
All right, Griff, do you have one?
Yeah, I got one.
All right, go ahead and find yours.
I'm gonna ride high. They're riding high. I really hope they don't have a letdown game, but I'm going Tennessee -1 over the Colts.
Ooh, okay.
Tennessee Titans over the Colts -1. So
you're not scared of the Colts? They're kind of bruisers.
The Colts
kind of got to watch out for them.
The Colts scare me because the Colts are a frisky team. Like I feel like they can play anyone close. But the fact that it's only 1 point, it's just like if they win by 1, I'm gonna be really mad, right? Because it'll be push. Yep. But I'm just hoping they can win by 2 or more. I think they can do it. I think they beat the Colts by 2 or more. So
okay.
Going with Tennessee Titans -1.
All right, I'm going with the pick that Griffin's always too scared to pick, and I'm taking Dallas over Minnesota at
2.5.
2.5. So which I think I looked up the stats. Teams coming off a bye absolutely burn the fucking spreads. Good teams coming off the bye and like real deal burn the spreads. And I think Dallas is a good team coming off the bye and should beat Minnesota by more than 2.5. Although Kirk Cousins is having a hell of a year, and I think he might be able to get some garbage points and catch up, but I think Dallas is just a better team here.
Okay. So I will say, this is my don't think about it, just better pick of the week, the Dallas Cowboys, -2.5.
Yeah, he's always too scared to pick his own team.
One thing I will say,
I picked my own team earlier this year.
The only thing that scares me a little bit of it is Dak pulled his hamstring in the last play of last week. But
quarterbacks, they get injured on me.
They said he should be. They said it wasn't serious. That he should be good to go this week. So
CD Lamb's out, Amari Cooper's out, Zeke tore his leg off completely. That's funny.
Here you go, Zach.
All right, my pick, and I'm going with like I said, you bet versus the good teams, not against the bad ones, and I'm going with the Bengals over the Jets at -9.5. I almost said -9.5.
Go for it.
I'm going with the Bengals, hometown pick. Jets are bad. And if the Bengals can come out and literally smack the shit out of the Ravens like they did, what do you think they're going to do?
And the Lions.
And the Lions.
Back-to-back weeks.
I mean,
riding hot.
They're hot. Their defense is scary good. And, I'm going with the Bengals -9.5.
I think it's a good pick. I mean, I'm always afraid of like letdown games or big wins, which is stupid because I just picked Tennessee after back-to-back really big wins, you know?
Yep.
But I think it's going to be pretty safe. I don't think Zach Wilson's playing either, so.
And they just traded away Joe Flacco.
They traded you traded for Joe Flacco?
Four.
Yeah. So
I thought he was already at the Jets.
Joe Flacco's on the Jets now, right?
No, I thought he was the backup.
I don't know. I can't remember who Joe Flacco got traded for.
I'm going to look this up.
Anyways, I think the Bengals are hands down the better team.
No, he went to the Jets. He got traded from the Eagles.
The thing you got to worry about picking a team
the green.
-9.5 is just like Bengals up 15 with 4 minutes left and they go into prevent D.
Yeah.
And just let the other team go down and score and then try to kick an onside and don't get it. And the Bengals win. You know, they don't care, but you care.
I care. So we're going to stick with the Bengals. Speaking of prevent defense, I got to ask the question, how am I feeling about Zach Taylor? I still am not high on him, but it is hard to say that about a 5-2 team. I don't know. I just think that he makes some goofy ass like coaching things. But I mean, 5-2. How much is that as the defense, the defensive coordinator? Zach Taylor's not the defensive coordinator. So I don't know. My comment was, do you think that the 96 Bulls really needed Phil Jackson? So I don't know.
You're the one that's always been the coaching guy. You can't just flop to the players guy now.
I'm not. I'm saying, like, how does Zach Taylor go from what he was doing the past 2 years to what he is doing now? Like, granted, we do have a better team, but, like, I don't know. I think that we could easily be 6-1 if it wasn't for Zach Taylor trying to run the ball up the middle on, like, a 3-2 play versus the Packers when we couldn't run the fucking ball all day.
I think Zach Taylor's actually coached pretty well this year. Outside of some of the 5 wide calls he likes to call over time, I think he calls that a little bit too much. But to be fair, there's been a lot of times where those have actually worked this year. So it's like give and take. It's like sometimes I think he calls it a little bit too much. But to your point on the Packers game is, I mean, McPherson should have kind of won that game.
No, I agree.
Like, I don't know, like with kickers missing field goals, I never like to blame that on the coach unless they take a super dumb field goal. You know what I mean? But like, they should have won that game. They should have won off McPherson making a kick, and I think he missed 2 of them, right?
Yeah, 2, and then Mason Crosby missed 3.
Yeah, like they gave that away. Right. They probably should have won that, but still, I think he's coached well this year. I mean, he's coached a lot better than I thought he was going to.
Yeah,
I was waiting for him to start the season like 3-7 or something like that, and then be like, all right, let's just fire him, get him out of here. So,
but we're gonna move on to brighter things, and Jake, go ahead and say it.
What am I saying? Who they?
Dude, they're the greatest team in the world.
Oh, dude. Championati is the new name of Cincinnati. I went ahead and pushed it up to the board of directors.
Yeah.
And they're going to approve it.
Oh, hell yeah.
Championati. Because Cincinnati bringing in the championships this year. How good did they look? Joe Burrow, 23 for 38, 416 yards, 3 touchdowns and a pick, along with the Rookie of the Year. Did you see ESPN just said Jamar Chase is Rookie of the Year?
Yeah,
7 games in.
He's going to be
I thought he was Rookie of the Month.
It's not official, but they literally
really?
On their Instagram, they said Rookie of the Year and put a picture of Jamar Chase.
So, timeout.
If he keeps up even remotely close to this pace and doesn't get hurt, he's going to win Rookie of the Year. Offense Rookie of the Year.
Well, that's what I had in my notes. Could we have 2 Rookie of the Year awards?
Jonathan India claiming the Rookie of the Year for the Cincinnati Reds, Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, it's dead clear. He's out in open water by himself as Rookie of the Year. He's got the most receiving yards by rookie in the first 7 games ever.
750 yards.
Out in the clear, Justin Fields is like a word. We're getting that a little bit.
I thought we were going to have a real debate going.
It's him. He's the clear favorite.
Has been that good?
Jamar Chase is the clear favorite.
Just think about that. 754 yards already Jamar Chase has in 7 games.
Here you guys go. Here's some stats for you. So pacing, right? On pace stats. Obviously for a 16 versus a 17 game season, but still you'll see kind of some of the gap. So the rookie record for receiving touchdowns in the season and receiving yards for a season, both held by Randy Moss in his rookie season, where he caught for over 1,300 yards and I think 15 or 16 touchdowns, which is ridiculous, right? That's ridiculous for a 16-game single season. Jamar Chase is pacing for 1 less touchdown right now through 17 games. So 1 less touchdown, but almost 1,900 receiving yards he's pacing
nuts,
for.
Dude.
Which is like, even if you took 1 game out of that, he's still pacing for like 1,700 probably.
Dude, he's averaging over 100 yards a game.
Yeah, he's playing awesome.
Let's go Joe Burrow quote.
That connection.
After they did an in-game press conference thing that they do, and they were interviewing Jamar Chase and sucking his dick, basically. And then Jamar Chase gets up and walks off, and Joe Burrow sits down and said, thought he couldn't catch.
Yeah.
That also another quote from Uzama, and he said, if you get tackled by the last defender, you have to do push-ups in front of the whole team. He said, I do push-ups on my own damn time.
That's funny.
So Bengals looking awesome, absolutely wiping the floor with the Ravens.
Yeah, that's a big win. It really
you know
is a
what?
big win.
I saw some good things that they did that I really liked because I knew that the Ravens were going to bring the house on the blitz.
Yep.
You knew that they were going to bring the house on the blitz. Zach Taylor, Joe Burrow, the entire team knew that they were going to bring the house on the blitz. And I really like what they did because I know the offensive line did really good at holding up. But what it looked like they did is that when they brought the house, it puts their defense in man-to-man coverage. And we just have way too many weapons for that defense to cover man-to-man.
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be a matchup somewhere that Joe Burrow is going to like. And most of the time, obviously, it's Jamar Chase. But Uzama, I think when they put that linebacker on Uzama, there's no chance.
I will say, Jamar Chase, obviously incredible. But that, 82-yard reception that he had.
With the spin?
Yeah, I mean, he should have been tackled like
That was a good play, though. I mean, that's why you get playmakers.
Right,
I mean,
right. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm impressed by it, but the Ravens defense definitely fucked that one up. Like, he should have been tackled like 2 yards after he caught the ball. But I want to have a question for you guys. I don't like deep thought here. I know that this is a very well known QB award, but what are the chances that he could win MVP if he keeps this up?
I don't
From
think
wide
so.
receiver?
For wide receiver, if he hit 2,000 yards,
yeah, he would have to go for 2,000 yards, and he'd have to score a lot of touchdowns, like a lot more touchdowns.
Yep.
He'd have to be like over 20 touchdowns. I'll
Who's
put it
the
in
last one to
perspective.
do it?
I don't know.
Has anyone done it?
Randy Moss scored literally like 23 touchdowns the one year that him and Tom Brady like had that connection, and
They would
he-
just
he
give it
didn't
to the
win.
quarterback.
Yeah, he didn't
at
win
that
MVP.
point.
I know.
Because the quarterback's obviously going to have awesome
Yeah.
numbers.
So I just don't think it'll happen. The only way it would happen is if it was like a bad team who barely made the playoffs with a quarterback who had a lot of picks, but they barely made the playoffs. So they had a good defense and they had one wide receiver who was like Megatron out there just balling out. You know
I mean,
what
Joe Burrow does have a lot of picks on his stat line.
yeah, he does. He does have a lot of picks. That's true. I don't know. I don't see
Yeah.
it happening at all.
I don't know. I mean, I figured that's what you guys were going to say is like, obviously, if Jamar Chase goes for 2,000 yards, Joe Burrow's going to
I
get
think
the
I could be
recognition
wrong.
for
I'd
it.
have to see what the betting favorites were, but I'm almost positive right now the betting favorites for MVP is like Kyler Murray, Dak Prescott, Max Stafford in some order, those two,
Yeah.
and I think Tom Brady's up there. And I think the top five is like Kyler Murray's one, but then it's some order of like Brady, Stafford, Prescott, and Allen below him, like in those top five.
Yeah, I think just the wide receivers, it's just unprecedented. I mean,
Yeah.
not impossible, but pretty close.
I agree.
I don't know. I mean,
just because of his position, not because of how talented he's been or how awesome he's looked.
and dare I say it, do we see a playoff win in the future?
Dude, I don't know, but I sure hope so. I mean, we're changing the name to Cincinnati already. So
Expectations
it doesn't matter.
are a hell of a thing, boys.
I wanted to say another thing that their defense
Expectations
did
are crazy.
that I really liked, and they didn't really speed rush at all. So Bengals have really good speed rushers on the outside, but they would speed rush up, and then instead of keep speed rushing, they would stop and contain.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that Lamar ran for more than 10 yards of carry like once.
I mean,
He
82
definitely
yards, I
broke
think.
out and got a lot of runs, but they just like were all around him at the same time.
Dude, I will say one thing. If I was a defensive coordinator game planning against Lamar Jackson, I feel like their line does a very good job of collapsing the pocket and the center getting out of the way for Lamar to just squeak up through the middle. Like, you definitely need to keep a linebacker or even drop down a safety if you can, like kind of spying him.
Right. That's what I was saying. Because normally what you see in Lamar Jackson is the two outside rushers just literally run right past him and he steps up through them.
Right.
And they have no chance to tackle him. Yeah. But you'd see them kind of rush to the outside and then they'd always try to come back and push inside. Mm-hmm. And I think it was really contained.
When you have Sam Hubbard and is it Henderson or Hendrickson?
Trey Hendrickson.
Hendrickson, yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, Sam Hubbard, definitely not as fast as Lamar Jackson, but he's a pretty quick end. Like, if you're like, even if you're scrambling, like he's gonna get to you. It's not like Domatal Pecco or somebody like a big dude trying to get after you. But I want to say that the Ravens were 5-0 against the Bengals before this game, and Joe Mixon has not scored a touchdown in 3 seasons versus the Ravens.
I mean, they pretty much shut him down, minus that big run he had in, was it the third or fourth quarter? Quarter?
I think he only had like 30 yards going in the fourth quarter.
I mean,
or something
minus
like
that big run, that he's pretty much getting shut down.
Yeah, he was.
I mean, Griffin said it. There was a couple times where the Bengals would throw for 9 yards on the first down and then run for 0 and run for 0. I was like, Jesus Christ. So their D front did pretty good at stopping the run. I think Bengals had a good game plan, and they did not eliminate Lamar Jackson, but they like held with Lamar Jackson back. Mm-hmm.
So you're bought into Zach Taylor?
I don't know. I mean, I was so not bought into him at the beginning of the year, and now, I mean, there's only one thing to do. You win. You win games.
Yeah, you win games.
And I'm happy. I don't care. Yeah. I don't care who's coaching the team. They win games.
Yeah.
It's crazy because I was
We'll bring John Gruden in here. I don't give a
If you were to
win the games.
if you guys were to power rank the AFC, I'm trying to think in order. I mean, I'm trying to think of any teams I put ahead of the Bengals right now because it's really playing.
Like the whole AFC?
The whole AFC, I'd probably just have to put the Bills. I'd probably put Bills and then Bengals.
Bengals are technically in the first place in the entire AFC at the moment, but
they have a first round bye.
I believe the Bills had to bye is the only reason they're in first technically.
Correct.
Because they haven't played the extra game. Unless the Bills lose, the Bills will eventually take first place back.
I can see the Raiders. Raiders are also 5-2, so it's close between Raiders and Bengals at number 2. I'd probably put the Bills number 1. I think they're probably the best team in the AFC right now. But I don't know. Also, the Titans. I don't know what to think about the Titans because I thought the Titans after the Jets loss is just so weird. It throws me off. I keep thinking their defense.
The Titans also
sucks.
lost to the Bengals last year.
I know, but I keep when I see the Titans every time I see them, which I just bet on them obviously for this -1. But like part of me is like, oh, they can't keep it up. Their defense is too bad, and then they go and beat the Bills, and then go and destroy the Chiefs and give 3 points to the Chiefs. So I have no idea, but that Jets loss is going to fuck with me for a while on the Titans.
So sticking with the Titans, dude, Derrick Henry can do it all. Like, literally can do it all. He can run over people. He's like a fucking left tackle with cornerback speed with Patrick Mahomes' arm.
Patrick Mahomes' arm.
Because, dude, he's throwing tutters out there.
Dude, so what you're saying is that they need to run Wildcat offense only.
Only.
And just destroy defenses.
Only, dude. He's very awkward. He's a very awkward quarterback. That throw made me very uncomfortable. But, I mean, Wildcat defense, I mean, what are you going to do? Like, how are you going to stop that?
I feel like we need videos of him doing just like random tasks and random stuff just to see how his body moves and works when he does
I just got to
stuff.
say something real quick. This is off task because when I was watching it, but Russell Wilson's being cringy again. They were showing his pregame warm-ups, and he was like simulating throws, and he would like throw the pass and then look like he was looking downfield and then give a fist pump and a number 1, like, yeah, good catch. Then they showed him roll out from a fake sack, run up field, and then slide down and then get up and fist pump and give a first down sign with no one. It's so cringy. It's
The
so
dude's not
cringy.
even playing, and somehow he sneaks into the podcast.
You weren't watching it, but it was hilarious.
Anyways, back
We
to
were
the
looking forward to
Titans.
not talking about Russell Wilson.
It was so
He's garbage.
cringy.
He's washed.
It was
All
so
right.
cringy.
Back to the Titans, dude. I'm all in on the Titans. I'm buying what they're selling. You
are?
Yeah, I think that they're a really good team, and I think Julio Jones and AJ Brown, if they can stay healthy, dude, like Derrick Henry is an absolute beast. Not really sold on Tannehill. I think that he's kind of just like a game manager, but I mean, why would you have to perform as well when you have those 3 guys that I just named around you and a decent offensive line? I don't know. I'm all in on the Titans. I think that they can do very well, and I think what are they in the AFC South? Isn't that what division they're in, Griff? AFC South?
Yeah.
I mean, the AFC South is definitely trash. So, what do they have? The Colts, the Texans, obviously
Jags.
the Titans, and the Jags. So, if they don't win at least their division, like, come on, bro.
So, going around, hashtag trade Mahomes.
Trade
Hashtag
him.
going around.
I think
Pick Trick Mahomes.
I think he's washed. No, I'm just kidding.
Hashtag trade Mahomes. The Dallas Cowboys will take
You
him.
didn't like my comment here? We thought Patrick Mahomes was the next Tom Brady, but actually, he's the next Russell Wilson. He came out. He made it to the Super Bowl early in his career. Everyone thought he was a legend.
2 Super Bowls.
He's
Just like
about
Russell
to.
Wilson.
He's about to fall off a cliff, and then he's still going to be untouchable for all those Patrick Mahomes fans that he acquired in the first couple years.
Dude, that is interesting because he has been to 2 Super Bowls, won 1 and lost 1, and his defense was really good both years that he won or went to the Super Bowl.
His offense was really good.
His offense, I know.
His offense was
I was
really
just trying
good.
to stretch it.
I
was just trying to
His
stretch it.
defense was not that good last
But
year.
I
His
think
offense
that
was good.
this year they try to upgrade that offensive line, but I didn't think it's obviously not working.
bad.
It's very bad. Don't know what's going on with like Travis Kelce. I feel like I haven't heard much from him. Obviously Clyde's hurt. Which
Do you see Travis
sucks.
Kelce's pitch?
No,
It was smooth as hell. They did it. It was. I mean, they were losing by a lot. They were trying everything.
Yeah.
They threw a crosser across the middle, and he was running. And then Tyreek Hill was probably a good 5 yards behind him, and he literally no look, was looking straight at the guy, tried to juke him, and just underhand just pitched it to the left. Right to Tyreek Hill, and they got a first. It was really smooth as hell.
Athlete.
It was super cool.
straight athlete.
So
And I think that their defense is off. I don't know, dude. Something looks off with the Chiefs.
their defense is terrible. That's the big issue. Their offensive line and defense.
I mean, they scored 3 points in this game.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Patrick Mahomes got hurt.
I mean,
too.
even though that they're not the best, I think the story came out that he's going to play next week.
yeah,
So he did go through concussion protocol.
What happened? He got kneed in the head?
Right.
That's what I saw.
He missed
yeah.
the rest of the game, pretty sure.
And then he went to concussion protocol, and I think he's been cleared to play. So don't worry, you Patrick Mahomes fans.
So I got a question for you guys right now. I think I probably know the answer to this, but since you guys are so riding high on the Bengals and he's your boy, but would you trade a first-round pick and Joe Burrow for Patrick Mahomes right now?
No.
Dude, I'm taking Joe Burrow. I love Joe Burrow's moxie. Let's go.
I think I'd probably take Patrick Mahomes, but
Probably-
I
probably smart move.
gotta respect the loyalty.
But why,
seriously.
though? I mean,
I'm just asking, would you?
Where Joe Burrow is, like right now, he's officially played one season, if you want to look at it that way. Like the games for a full season. Mm-hmm. I mean, before he tore his ACL was great. After he tore his ACL, he's doing great. Is it just the recency bias of Patrick Mahomes has more game film as to why you would take him? Or
I think
why,
even
like why?
I think it's more so recency bias. You're saying no because he's thrown 15 picks in 15 straight games, which is not good. I mean, I agree, it's not good.
Mahomes, if you look at their stats this year,
15
they're
picks in
pretty
15 straight games.
They're somewhat comparable.
Huh?
Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes.
Oh no, yeah, they are this year for sure.
They're pretty comparable.
100%, they're comparable.
So even for us to say how great Burrow is playing and how bad Mahomes is playing, Mahomes is playing bad for Mahomes.
Yeah.
He's not playing bad for the average quarterback.
But what I'm saying is, do you, I mean, I think the Bengals defense is pretty obvious to say. I think their defense is better than Chiefs defense right now.
Oh, no doubt.
So, I mean, you never know this. I hate saying this because this is, I think, a bullshit thing to say, but imagine what Patrick Mahomes would do on the Bengals team, right? But I was just curious if you guys.
Anybody would ever thought to say that
I know,
before this year.
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, I was just curious if you guys would do it like right now. Would you take Patrick Mahomes to be for the next 10 years or whatever his contract was as your quarterback?
I think
I probably would. I think I'd probably
my
go
heart
Dak
and
for him.
soul is into it.
Yeah.
The Bengals team right now.
Like I said, I respect the loyalty. And it'd probably be hard for me to say ship out Dak because they're playing so well with Dak, but I'd probably end up saying, give me Mahomes.
If you told me,
Mahomes.
if you had me rank quarterbacks, I would for sure rank Mahomes above Burrow.
We'll get into that in a little bit.
I don't know what this year. I'm saying like just talent wise in general.
I don't know. I like how Burrow carries himself more than Mahomes. Like, nothing against Mahomes. I think he's still a good game manager and a good leader. But there's just something about Burrow that's like, fuck you. I'm going to be better than you no matter what. And that's what I like about Burrow.
So that's where I think you get a little bit of the recency bias, though, because Burrow definitely has that, and that's awesome. But Mahomes has it too. Like if you look at Mahomes' entire career, it's like that. It's like that every game. He's like sitting there flexing on people, like all this crazy stuff. He definitely has the moxie too. It's hard to have moxie when your team just losing a bunch of games, like really hard. So anyway, I was just curious. I was curious what you guys were thinking,
But to clean it up, wrap this game up, Titans looked awesome. And back-to-back wins against the Bills and then the Chiefs. I mean, you got to give them some credit. Those are pretty dang good wins.
Super Bowl contender teams.
You know, some teams just seem to have the Titans' kryptonite is what worries me if you want to call them a Super Bowl contender. Because, I mean, they'll come out and just some teams will game plan them and then they won't look good.
Yeah.
It's so weird, but then you look how good they look against some teams. I think they're good. I mean, they're going to be in the playoffs for sure. We're going to see them there. Then I'll make an assessment on them later down. I don't want to make too early assessment like I did with Tampa Bay. So we're going to move on to the best team in the league. I think this is almost hands down. We can't even say any otherwise. The Cardinals have just beat the shit out of pretty much everyone, even though the Texans are really not a good football team.
Garbage.
Really not a good football team.
They get played to play football too, Jake.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's what you do. Good football teams go into teams like the Texas and take care of business.
Shit out of them.
You don't let them play with them because you're better than them. And the Cardinals looked better than them the whole time, took care of business. Do you think they have a shot to go 17-0? Looking through their schedule, the only really quote-unquote tough game is the Packers, the Rams, and the Cowboys. And I know you're huge on the Rams, but they already beat the Rams by 17 points this year.
I know.
What I'll say is technically they have a chance. They're undefeated. What I will say is it's very unlikely that happens.
And they'd be the first team ever to go 17-0. Pretty cool.
Yeah. One thing I want to say is that the NFL is crazy because anyone can lose anyone on any day too.
Any given
Just have a bad day. Because think about the Jets, Titans, right? Mm-hmm. You guys thought that would happen? Nope.
Last year, Bengals, Titans.
Yep. You're right. So I just think it's too unlikely. I mean, I think the teams that you see that go undefeated are the ones that you're just like, they're head over heels, one of the best teams I've ever seen. I think about that Patriots team that went undefeated and then ended up losing the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. But they literally like they were just everybody they beat the crap out of. They were just that good. Because it was prime Tom Brady with prime Randy Moss.
Close game, maybe two close games. Pretty much
17-10. I think was that their closest game. Maybe
I don't know. They pretty much wiped the floor. With first game, most of the teams.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see them going undefeated. I don't see it. I think it's way too unlikely. I don't think their defense.
Do you think it's one of those three teams that beat him? Cowboys, Rams, Packers? Probably,
but I think that I think they're going to lose at least one of those three teams. Might lose two of them, who knows? But at least one of those three teams. And I think they also lose to some other team outside of that too at some point.
Exactly. I can't see them going 7.
It's hard to have. It's hard to not have a letdown game where you play a team that you're obviously better than and you lose to. It's very hard to do that. In the NFL.
Don't they play the Packers Thursday?
I don't know when they play them. It's coming up.
They play the Packers this week.
I think that's in order as they play Packers, Rams, Cowboys.
Yeah, I was going to say. I thought I wrote that down somewhere. But anyways,
real quick, actually, I want to say something about the Chiefs real quick. The Chiefs got to get some shit together because they have a tough schedule coming up. So next week they play a crappy team. Can't remember who it is. They play someone crappy. They should beat them.
They got Las Vegas and Chargers twice.
No, even coming up though, I think they got to play Vegas, Packers, Cowboys back to back to back. That's tough.
That's tough.
That's a tough schedule. They got to figure some things out on defense, especially.
Yeah. I mean, you see me. I wrote it down right here. Time to hit the freaking panic alarms, dude. It really is. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know that they're only one game behind 500, but their division's good. I mean, if they want to win that division, they're going to have to step it up big time. Yeah. Big time from where they're at right now.
Well, isn't today the trade deadline? Tuesday?
I don't know when. I think it's 2 weeks away.
Oh.
I thought it was after week 8.
I thought Molly Quirm or Kerm, however you say it.
I think it got extended a week because we had an extra week in the season too. I could be wrong.
Got you.
I will say about the Cardinals is I think they've been winning these games with their offense, and that's normally not the teams you see go 17-0.
Well, let me ask you
not
this
that
question.
Their defense is bad. I don't think their defense is bad, but I think they've been winning the games with their high-powered offense.
Chandler Jones had 5 sacks week 1 and hasn't had a sack the rest of the season.
Really?
So, yeah.
Going off of what you just said, I want to ask you about J.J. Watt said, how about instead of making excuses for why we win, maybe we're just fucking better?
They're a good team.
How you feel about that?
Just fucking better. I mean, I told you they're good.
I know, but like, I don't know. How can you go on record and say a 7-0 team is just getting lucky?
Like, who said that?
I guess that's what J.J. Watt was referring to. Is like reporters saying, like, you know, maybe
they're getting lucky.
No,
they're a good team.
Like, when I would think someone was getting lucky would be the
Bengals.
Broncos coming out going 3-0 and winning games by field goals, and you know, like they've kind of lucked into some wins and some lucky turnover luck. I mean, when I think New England, like the last year that Brady was on, or maybe the year he left, and they had like 30 turnovers or something insane, and you're like, it's kind of lucky. I know their defense is creating them, but the odds of even a good defense getting that many turnovers is lucky.
It's crazy.
So, I don't think it's lucky.
I think Kyler Murray made the right choice by telling the A's to kick rocks.
I think so too.
Duh.
I mean, I feel like, what was it?
He'd still be in the minor leagues.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't it just his height that people were like, oh, he can't play quarterback in the NFL?
Short.
Yeah.
But, I mean, who gives a fuck? Throw it up. You got DeAndre Hopkins, AJ Green.
Dude, even if you go number 1 overall in the NFL versus number 1 overall in MLB, you're making more money right there.
Interesting thing about the MLB is they finally passed the law where the minor leagues have to house the players, which is pretty cool. Not that we're talking about MLB right now, but I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, we know that we have a minor league here in Florence where we live, and we know some people that would house the players because they're literally dirt poor.
Yeah.
And they're probably from different areas trying to make a living in baseball and trying to pretty much get out of the team that they're in right now so they can make some money. But I think it's pretty cool that the MLB made that decision because, I mean, it's not going to help them. Like, there's no profit returning from the players doing that.
Right.
It's just them being
nice.
Yeah, them being nice. I like it.
Nice. All right, Griff. This guy's not back yet, but he's on the come up. AJ Green, 406 yards. He only had 523 all year last year.
He's playing a lot better than he did last year.
He has 3 touchdowns. He only had 2 last year.
Playing a lot better than he did last year, that's for sure.
Would you like to apologize to me?
Well, no, not really. Not since you're fishing for it. Definitely not since you're fishing for it. I will say AJ Green's playing better than I thought he was going to, so hopefully we can keep it up.
I hope so too.
Hopefully we can finish the season around like 7 or 8 touchdowns and
getting. I'll ask you another question.
That 1,000-yard mark. That'd be awesome.
Do you see a spot for AJ Green on the Cincinnati Bengals with T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and Tyler Boyd?
No, I've on recording. I'm glad that they got rid of AJ Green. I'm just mad at all the naysayers who said that he was washed.
Kind of is washed.
But
you want to compare him to what he used to be?
I mean, he's on the come up, dude. He's on pace.
He's not playing bad.
He's on pace to get over 1,000 yards.
I know. That's why I said I hope he can keep it up. I really do.
I don't know. I mean,
I just want to say
definitely. Hold on. I will say he's not wide receiver 1. There's no way you can play him over DeAndre Hopkins.
No way. I was pointing to the fact that it's surprising to me that he's playing better with all the weapons they have on that team because they have a lot of weapons to throw to, and he's playing well, holding his own. Yeah. I think his numbers get hurt a little bit by adding another weapon with Zach Ertz, which kind of sucks for like everyone. So I think everyone outside DeAndre Hopkins' numbers are going to be lower than they would be if they had like 2 less guys on that team.
Do you see the picture of Zach Ertz?
They have so many people they can throw
in his practice uniform with the Philadelphia Eagles wristband on.
No,
it was like a sad, like I miss my old team song, and it was like zooming in. It kept zooming in on him until you could finally see the Eagles logo.
I'm glad that he got out of.
It's the same thing that made me sad as all the Cubs players got traded. All of them's first 2 games they wore Cubs batting gloves.
Yeah,
Like,
they're
every
trying to
single
make
time.
it sound like that he was sad for leaving the Eagles when he goes to literally a 7-0
best team in the league.
football team.
Okay,
Like, I'm so sad. This sucks.
Raiders Eagles
For me.
Raiders Eagles. Rich Bisicchia, is he the best coach in the league?
Dude, I mean, he has the best win percentage as
2-0.
a head coach ever.
2-0.
So, I mean, that's pretty crazy,
Rich
right?
Bisicchia.
Like, they lose their
they are
head
playing
coach
for
that they've
Rich,
had
too.
for a while.
They love Rich. They love Rich Bisicchia. They love this
And
dude.
this new guy comes in, and they're 2-0, which is impressive. You'd think that, like, all that turmoil that was going on with the Raiders, how does that not get in the players' head? How would that not deter them? But somehow this new guy comes in and turns that on its head and lets the players play better for him.
I feel
that's
like
awesome.
it wasn't around long enough to get in the player's head. I mean, they might have heard about it before we did, but there's no way that was sealed in for weeks before, like, Ian Rappaport got a hold of it and we heard about it. So I think that it just wasn't around long enough for them to create such a hate for John Gruden before he stepped away to where, I mean, people were probably upset about it, but I feel like it was just like, oh, all right, he's gone, move on.
It's just interesting because I know that in the past there's been teams that have had kind of turmoil on the inside that we didn't know about. Let's say maybe the Steelers.
Yeah.
Hidden turmoil. That's kind of what I expected would happen with this team, but I don't see it at all. I'm obviously outside looking in. I'm not in the locker room,
Right.
but I don't see it at all. They all seem like they are still out there to do the same thing they did, and they came, and that's win football games.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive. I mean, obviously their
mean-
quarterback's balling out this year, so that can't hurt.
That division's pretty hard, too.
Division's pretty hard. They're gonna have to play, and they seem like they're meeting expectations.
Who do they have? The Chargers and the Chiefs? Who else? Broncos? That sounds about right.
Yeah.
So,
right.
I mean, well, the Broncos we've already declared as frauds.
Yeah, the Broncos have no shot in that division.
I mean, Broncos season's over. It's pretty much the Nuggets town. They run that shit.
Hey, Colorado Avalanche.
Yeah, dude, big hockey guy too. But I think that the Raiders, I can see them, winning the AFC West.
Yeah,
I'm
Over the
back on it.
Chargers?
I'm
I can
back
see
on
him doing it.
I'm
Over
back
the
on it.
Chargers? Wow, you were back on the Chargers last
I was
week.
back on the Chargers,
Hey,
but now I'm back
triangle,
on the Raiders.
triangle theory, Jake.
I'm gonna just
triangle
keep hopping
theory.
back and forth until the end of the year.
Triangle theory, right?
Last man
Chargers
who has
look
the ball
good, and they
wins.
got shit pumped by the Ravens, who got shit pumped by the Bengals, right? So now the Chargers are worse than the Bengals, right?
Right.
So
Hands down.
all it takes is a Raiders win over the Bengals, and then that's it.
So I don't know the answer to this, but if I had to pick a team, I think I'm going to go with the Chargers. I think they're more fun.
They're a fun team.
I mean, I would pick Herbert over Derek Carr for sure, but somehow Derek Carr is still getting W. So
Balling.
you
Balling.
can't
Yeah, I
hate
don't
that
know.
too much.
No, he's not balling. Justin Fields.
Yeah, garbage, dude. He's so bad.
He's played bad. His team's not doing many favors,
So
but
bad.
you definitely like to
So-
see him play better than that. So,
Dude, what makes me mad about this is like almost the same scenario that like you can't talk shit about Russell Wilson. Like it's almost like the opposite in reverse for like Justin Fields is no one's talking that much shit about
He's
him.
so bad.
Like I don't see people
think
talking
he's-
shit about him.
I think he's playing really bad. I think it's
Obviously
yeah.
playing really
But
bad.
I like because I understand what you're saying. It's like people are trying to protect him, saying like, "Well, his team's really bad. That's why he's playing really bad."
Yeah.
Which I get it to an extent, but you'd still like your guy to play better than 3 picks, two lost fumbles, 3 total fumbles. You know what I mean? The fumbles I can understand a little bit more, getting blindsided, but there was one that he just had no time to throw. But he's making.
So I'm
bad
gonna go through
decisions.
these stats.
Making bad decisions.
go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna go through these stats. Just go through this game. He had 184 yards, 3 INTs, and 2 lost fumbles.
total.
And on the year, Justin Fields is dead last in QBR, dead last in passer rating, dead last in completion percentage, dead last in touchdown to INT ratio. And even though he missed the first 3 games he didn't start,
2.5.
2.5.
2.5 games he didn't start, he is leading the NFL in times sacked. And Chicago fans, this is our guy.
Dude.
This is our guy, Chicago fans.
All I have to say is, like, obviously we know Tom Brady's great. So a 38-3 win is, not out of the blue.
No.
But if you haven't joined my take yet, it's time that Justin Fields will not be in the NFL for very long. Let's hear it. Let's say it all together, Griff.
I can't say it yet.
You have to say it. How can you not say it
can't say
after
that. I can't say
Jake
that.
just read off all those stats? You're a big stats guy, right?
The stats aren't good. They're not
And
good.
you think that he's going to be in the NFL very long?
I can't say he's not going to be in the NFL very long.
You know what I see when I see this stuff?
First off, he's got 4 years guaranteed, so he's
So
going to be in the
their
NFL. for
coach is
his
Matt
full-
Nagy.
You can
right?
cut him.
Matt Nagy. I think he's super fucking soft because I think he knew the whole time that Justin Fields wasn't the starting guy.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, fans, we're starting Andy Dalton. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
We're starting Andy Dalton. And his ass got peer pressured into starting
I think-
Justin Fields. I think he's soft, gave in to the fans knowing what
Yeah.
he knows.
First off, I think Matt Nagy's an idiot. And second off, I
COVID.
think
He ain't going to be there next week, so
I think
I'd be surprised.
I think Matt Nagy's an idiot. And second off, I think he's doing whatever he can to stay the Bears head coach and not get fired. So he'll do whatever the fans want. You know what I mean? I seriously, whatever the
fans
fans
don't
in the
make the
front office
decisions.
want. I know, but
The fans
when,
don't.
when
He needs
he's
to
in,
win the games, Matt Nagy.
when he's in the point where the entire fan base hates him because they think he's
Their
a
team's
terrible.
not that bad. They had 3 wins.
Listen, when he's in the thing where his entire team, the fan base hates him. They don't think he's a good coach, and they want him fired. Right? He's gonna do whatever he can to stay the head coach because he doesn't want to get fired. So if everyone's screaming and pressuring him to play this guy, they're just gonna play him. I wouldn't be surprised if he just benches him here soon and puts Andy Dalton back out there because now he's probably gonna be like, I need to win some fucking games so I don't get fired. And if he thinks Andy Dalton's gonna win games, he'll put him in the game. Right?
I think he knew it the whole time.
Well, what I'm saying is, I think he gave up because he wanted to keep the head coach. He wanted to keep people
listen.
happy.
So
I
Jake
think
just
we're
said
agreeing
3
with each other.
interceptions and 184 yards versus Tampa Bay. He's played 3 tough teams in the Packers, Tampa Bay, and Raiders as a starter. But for a high draft pick with a good defense, I expected better out of Justin Fields. For all the games he started, he's only had 1 game over 200 passing yards, and it was like 209 yards.
Yeah.
That is
No,
terrible.
He's not playing well, but his offense is terrible.
One, why is he still a starter? And 2, how do you
I
think...
can agree with the starter thing 100%. I think they need to play Andy. If they want to win games, they need to play Andy. I think that's pretty evident. But the thing I'm getting at is I'm not going to give up on him until I see him with a new head coach play just as bad or worse. I mean, it's just I think Matt Nagy's awful. I said at the beginning of the season I thought he was awful.
What do you think?
I think he'll bounce around. He'll get some chances in the NFL.
Yeah.
I think
he'd have a chance with the Bears next year if they get a new head coach. And if he plays bad, then he's like, okay, he's obviously not the guy. I've had 2 head coaches. He's been awful. Get rid of him. Right? That's where I'm at with it.
but
I don't trust Matt Nagy. I don't not
no,
trust
I
Matt
agree
Nagy.
with you. Because that was my question. Does the coaching change this, or do you think that it's a
think
problem
he's-
with the players? I think it's both. I mean, definitely a new coach might help, but I don't know. I just don't see it. Justin Fields, his quarterback knowledge is not there. He's very athletic. I will agree with you on
So
that.
the one thing I noticed him is he's trying to do what he did at Ohio State, where he I'm trying to make the big play because I'm the best player in the field, right? And he was the best player in the field when he was at Ohio State, and he's like, okay. So to your extent, what you talked about before, having a bunch of good players around him, but he was the best guy on the field when he played most of his games in college, right?
Yeah.
So he always felt like I can make this big play, and he, for the most part, could. Now he gets to the NFL, and he's probably not the best player in the field, right? So guys are a lot faster, and he's always looking to make the big play versus making the smart play. That's where that's like the rookie mistakes he's making. He's made a lot of them, a lot of them. You'd like to see him learn from that, and he hasn't really learned too much from that. So that's the thing that really worries me. That's what'll get him quicker out of the NFL than just getting sacked all the time, stuff like that. But more so making the bad plays, trying to make these insane plays when he really should just throw the ball away and just try to get on second down. You know what I mean? That's what's going to get him out of the league quicker. So I can definitely see that happening. I'm just not going to give up on him until I see a new head coach and he's still terrible. You know what I mean? He's played terrible this year. There's no way around it. It's not sugarcoating it.
Next podcast, I'm going to find a stat of all of the power schools and their quarterbacks and if they panned out in the NFL or not. Because I'd be interested in that to see all the Alabama quarterbacks, Ohio State, insert any name. Because as of now, I can't really think of a quarterback who's gone to a big power school and has
Deshaun
won.
Watson. Really good.
I mean, but has he done anything?
I mean, he's really freaking good.
We know he's
Before
done
all
some
of his other-
stuff off
Before
the field.
his off the field, yeah. I mean, before his off the field stuff. I mean, he was a top.
yeah, he was
People
good.
would say every year he's a top 5
But
quarterback.
what has he done for the Texans? He's done a lot for
won
his
playoff
career.
games for him.
what's the Texans done for him?
Right.
Yeah, he's won playoff.
But and then think about it.
I think you're reaching on Deshaun Watson, but I would think it'd be interesting to see Alabama and Ohio State.
Right,
I know
yeah.
they haven't had a bunch of good quarterbacks at all.
But Clemson, think about them. They were good for Deshaun Watson and then Trevor Lawrence, but now they're bad. And were they very good before them? I mean, that's what powerhouse. I'm saying
they were good with Todd
consistency, 15.
They were good
20
before
years.
them, but if you're talking about just the straight up teams that it depends what you mean by powerhouse.
I'm cool
like,
with you doing this
people
list.
consider Michigan a powerhouse, and they had Tom Brady, but they haven't been a powerhouse for the past like 5 or 6 or 7 years. Yeah. So
I'm cool with this list, but you need to be clear on what you consider a success.
yeah,
Because if you don't consider Deshaun Watson as a successful
never said
quarterback, yeah.
I'm saying like his
Obviously, I don't know if I'd call him a top 5 quarterback, especially with what's going on right now. But I mean,
his personal stats. Yeah, he's successful with that. I will agree. But like
I would
as
say
an
a 5-year
overall
career
team,
is successful.
but as an overall team, would you call Deshaun Watson a success at the Texans?
Yeah,
Would you
yeah.
really though?
I think he was until
gonna
this
look
past
up
year. One thing I want to say though too, if you want to pick the powerhouse schools, you got to pick for eras too, because there's most of the schools change per era. Like if you go back 15 years, Alabama's not a powerhouse school.
Right.
Like, but the past since Nick Saban got there, they were a powerhouse school, right? You go back in the early 2000s, you go to Miami Hurricanes were a powerhouse. You go back in the 90s, you go to Nebraska, they were a powerhouse. You got to see which teams were like the consistent bowl, BCS and national championship contenders every single year, and look at the quarterbacks that way, not just like saying, oh,
We'll just go like the past
Alabama.
20 years.
Yeah.
Stuff that we know about.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
I would be
curious
curious to see that. As I guarantee you, I would go off venture and say, and it could be skewed a little bit because it's really hard to be really good in the NFL at quarterback. You know, in general, it's hard to do. But I wouldn't be surprised to see if you have more bust quarterbacks out of these big schools than off the top of my head, I can think of Matt Leinart, bust. He was on a powerhouse team. Jamarcus Russell, powerhouse team, bust. Right. So there's 2 of them right off the top of my head I can think of.
So looking at this, Deshaun Watson, he's had 2 winning records, 1 losing record, and then a 3-3 season. So obviously,
That was when he tore his ACL.
Yeah, he didn't play. But I mean, overall, he's 28-25.
Yeah, he's also won a couple playoff games too. Pretty good.
I don't know. I mean, I would say that for a team quarterback, I would say that's kind of average to be 2 games over 500. Personally, he's done
won
a lot.
2 playoff games.
Personally,
What would you do if the Bengals won 2 playoff games in back-to-back seasons?
Griffin, listen to what I'm saying. Personally, Deshaun Watson has had a lot of success for himself, but correlations to the Texans, I don't really think he's done much.
He took the Texans to 2 playoff wins.
And who did they beat?
Do you know how fucking hard that is? The
And
Texans
who did they
are
beat?
god-awful. They've been god-awful franchise
They beat
forever.
the Bengals, who haven't won a playoff game since 1995 or some shit like that.
They won 2 playoff games with them.
Versus a team who hasn't won a playoff game.
So it's bad
in
that he won a
25
playoff game.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying.
He won 2. And what I want to say...
Listen to what I'm saying.
I will say they
you're
choked,
taking my
they
words
choked the
and
Chiefs
twisting
game
them.
too. They choked the Chiefs game too. Honestly, for Texans, I guarantee they're still talking about. Remember that time we were up 30 points to the Chiefs in the playoffs? Yeah, we lost, but it was still pretty cool. But the 2 playoff games, I don't know like how you can't say that's success. That's success for the freaking Texans. Texans are terrible. They've been terrible. I think you're seeing the evidence of how good he was right now.
No, I think that he is a very good quarterback. I've never disagreed
He's a
with
top
you.
5 quarterbathing he was. Yeah, people had him in the top 5 before all of his off.
Definitely a good quarterback. All right, moving on. I won't beat this in the ground too long. Anything else about Justin Fields?
I mean, nope. Tom Brady.
Tom Brady? All right.
We'll go on the other side. We go from Justin Fields to Tom Brady in the same game.
Yeah.
And
so
just as lopsided as the
600th career touchdown, and Mike Evans gives the ball away.
600 career, another milestone for Tom Brady. These milestones just never ever stop.
So
who knows what record he's going to break next? It's almost like I can't even get excited for him anymore because it just keeps happening.
Right.
Fan gave the ball back.
Fan did give the ball back, but I saw a lot of pushback from people on the internet saying that he should have not given the ball back.
Give him the ball back. He
Yeah,
could have made some money.
Some money on it.
He could have, but think about like being a nice guy, all the shit that now Tom Brady is going to give you with the possibility of meeting Tom Brady, or you have a football that's, I mean, yeah, it's worth like $500,000 or somebody put that out there.
Oh my God, $500,000.
I take the $500,000 easy.
Somebody said that it could have went on auction, like some famous like sports memorabilia auction for $500,000.
Yeah.
But do you think that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers let him walk out with that fucking football?
Okay, so here's the rule
I
on
think
that.
it's jumped.
No, he gets jumped.
Yeah, he definitely gets jumped.
As soon as he gets outside of the stadium and the security guards don't have his back
I thought the
anymore.
football is like property of the NFL standpoint. or
So
something.
here's the
It
rule
is.
on that is that if the football goes in the stands by accident or via kick, the fan has to return it. If a player hands the ball to a fan, the fan gets to keep it.
Yeah. Cam Newton always hands the ball to the kids,
And player
too.
gets fined.
Right. It wasn't like $100.
I think
For
it's
each ball.
quite more than that, but
Is
I'm
it?
not sure what the fine is.
Because I remember
that's like what the
Cam
balls
Newton
were.
used to take the fine every time I hand to kids.
Yeah, so the player gets fined
I
for
remember
the
that.
ball if the player gives it away and the fan gets to keep it. So technically, he was able to keep that ball. And I think it was probably in the moment. Like, I don't know. You're just an average fan at the stadium. Like, you don't even really know what that ball's worth or how you're going to get the money.
Right.
Or anything. So you're just like, your nice guy takes over and you're like, yeah, you can have the ball back and you got a signed jersey in return.
They gave him
or somewhat money.
another football, a couple
I got the
signed
stuff
jerseys.
Here. Got it right here. 2 signed jerseys and a helmet from Tom Brady. Signed Mike Evans jerseys and Mike Evans game cleats. $1,000 credit to the Buccaneers team store there in the stadium. And 2 season tickets for the rest of this season and 2 season tickets for all of next season they gave the guy.
I mean,
it's a pretty good return.
I mean, it's not
$500,000, but that's
right,
a pretty
but,
good
like,
return.
That's still a pretty good experience that you're going to get.
You could probably grab.
I got 2 signed Tom Brady jerseys. I'm selling one of those bitches
He
right
could
away.
probably grab 20 G's from all that.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. Why would you want to sell that? Like,
I would sell
if he wanted the money.
I would.
If he didn't need the money.
If he was smart, he would know what appreciation is and hold on to it.
Odds
for 20
are he's
years.
sitting in the front row. He probably doesn't need the money.
I would sell all them bitches.
I don't know.
I'm just kidding. An actual NFL signed helmet would be pretty sweet to have.
That would be sweet,
That'd be
especially one from Tom Brady.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet.
And didn't they give him like exchange a football before they were like, if you give us that
They
one,
gave him
we'll
another
give you
football,
this one,
yeah.
but then we'll give you all this other shit like after the game.
He got an NFL football too.
Yeah, so
I don't know if it was signed or not.
He made out for
Fuck
sure.
all the
I mean, he
people
was
on
just
the
some.
internet.
He was just some random guy.
Yeah, like
he didn't do anything.
He was not expecting that football at all. He was like, I'm going to go here, have some beers with my bros.
He ended that day way better than he thought was ever
for
gonna
real.
happen.
So do you guys
Fuck
know,
all the people on the internet.
do you guys know the legends of DBJ?
No.
The legend of DBJ?
No.
Daniel Jones, OBJ catch.
Oh,
TPJ.
Dude, that was a sick catch.
It was a sick catch, and he almost got his head taken off.
Oh yeah. That would have been another concussion for him.
But for those who didn't see it, Daniel Jones goes out on a Philly special, hands the ball to, was it a wide receiver who made the pass? A running back.
I actually did not see this play.
Well, I
saw
mean,
a
you've seen a
snippet of
Philly
it.
special before.
Yeah, I know what the Philly special is.
So it was a Philly special out, got the first down, and the safety almost took his fucking head off, but he like almost made it to the ground before he got hit. He still got hit pretty good, but he literally one-handed Odell Beckham snagged it.
Damn.
It wasn't as clean as OBJ. It kind of bobbled around in his hand, and he still brought it in one-handed.
I mean, OBJ's trash now, so.
But still pretty impressive. I mean, I think anytime you see a quarterback like Daniel Jones make a play like that, you're like, I'm pretty impressed by his athleticism.
Yeah. For real.
Pretty good. Nothing too special, just interesting play that happened. Anything else in NFL you guys want to hit?
Got my top 10 quarterback list.
No, we hit all the games I prepared.
All right, let's go ahead and dive into the top 10 quarterback list.
All right,
Griff says
so-
it doesn't change, but Joe Burrow, ball.
Pretty uneventful week
Burrow,
as far
Joe
as
Burrow,
changes
Joe
go.
Burrow,
Right.
Joe Burrow.
If you look at some guys that are on the list, Dak Prescott, Josh Allen, Kirk Cousins, Justin Herbert, all on bye this week. None of them played.
They better not be in the list now.
So all of them are on bye this week.
Joe Burrow better be like 5.
Joe Burrow,
Or up.
Griffin.
All of them are on bye this week. Some of the players that did play, Kyler Murray, Tom Brady, Matt Stafford, Aaron Rodgers, Derek Carr, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, right? These are all people that have been on the list or currently on the list that have all played, right? So the list goes as follows. I'm going to start right out at number 10 on the list again for the second time this year, Joe Burrow.
Boo! Number 10?
Number 10 on the list.
Get this week shit. Dude, he literally just wrecked the Ravens.
He wrecks the Ravens and he
And Lamar's going to be number 9.
400 plus
and
yards.
he bumped Lamar Jackson off the list.
Oh, okay.
Lamar Jackson's
I'm still not happy
Lamar
with it.
Jackson was 10.
Number 10?
Joe Burrow has 8 interceptions this year.
FedEx Air Player of the Week.
He did play awesome. He had 8 interceptions this week. Or 8 interceptions total, right? He's good enough for number 10. He can easily move back up.
Fuck this list.
Moving on.
Derek Carr, number 9.
Oh, you're going to put Burrow
Derek Carr's
under
aired out for some yards.
Derek Carr is
Carr.
aired out for
He's
some
got
yards.
yards, bro.
So I got Derek Carr, number 9. He's balling out. His team's also 5-2.
All right, good episode.
Up 1, 3 or 4 touchdown passes. Can't remember, but I moved Aaron Rodgers up 1 spot in the list. Aaron Rodgers, I mean, just quietly, not having like the baller MVP season, but still just playing really, really, really well this year.
He owns the Bucks and the Bears.
Oh, yeah. And then here's
Hold on,
where...
time out. Did you hear that he called Justin Fields trash in that little clip?
No.
Did you hear that?
That's
I didn't
hilarious.
hear that.
Apparently, he said, like, oh, I still fucking own you, blah, blah. And when he was running away, he was like, yeah, and Fields is trash, too.
Oh, that's funny.
God. I saw that Tom Brady was like 10-1 against the Bears or something ridiculous.
And his one loss was because he fucked up. He thought it was 3rd down, but it was really 4th down.
He's like 10-1 against the Bears.
So we got that. And then here's where the uneventful part happens. 1 through 7 stays exactly the same. Justin Herbert, number 7. Kirk Cousins, number 6. Josh Allen, number 5. Dak Prescott, number 4. Matt Stafford, number 3. Tom Brady, number 2, who has a really good week. But then Kyler Murray had a better week and stays at number 1. So, I mean, it's pretty uneventful. The top 3, I think, solidified themselves and stay in the top 3. The other guys that were on bye still have...
Where's Kirk at?
Kirk Cousins, number 6.
Oh, 6. Okay.
Yeah, he's having a baller year still.
So I'm still stuck on number 10.
Why?
Why isn't he higher? Like, what does he have to do?
They're less
better
picks.
than the other quarterbacks.
He's to be better than the other quarterbacks. And the other quarterbacks have had better seasons.
So if he goes out and like 60 pieces the Jets next week,
It'd be pretty awesome because he'd probably throw for like 6 touchdowns.
is he going to be number 9?
Not necessarily. He could be number 5, could be number 6. It depends on the other players quarterbacks play.
All right, well, he's going to go from 10 to 1 next week.
Whereas if he goes out and throws 6 touchdowns next week, no picks, and throws
We just
500
want this
yards,
segment to hear Joe
it's gonna move
Burrow's
up.
name.
He's got to play better then. He moved his way in the list because he played a really good week.
I'm cool with it.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, it really sucks. He threw 3 picks against the Bears. That really hurt his list on his spot on the
It's
list.
just kind of hella sus that Dak Prescott's up there.
Look at his numbers. Look
He's been pretty fucking
at his fucking numbers. They're better than Joe
On a
Burrow's.
bye week.
They're better, and then they're better than Joe Burrow's. Less picks, same touchdowns, more
Hush,
yards.
Griffin.
All
we
right,
get it.
moving on.
Less picks, same touchdowns, more yards.
College football, dude.
We had a fucking doozy of a football game. I didn't get to watch too much college football, so I'm not going to stay on it too long. I know Griffin didn't watch any either.
I didn't either.
You didn't either, but we'll hit on
I watched
some of the
highlights
things
and I'm
that
sad.
happened. Illinois, I think Penn State was probably the exciting game of the week.
Yeah, 9 overtimes.
How freaking cool is that? 9 overtimes. So I didn't quite understand the overtime rules. I don't think Griffin did. I don't know if you did. But after
Unless they
2,
changed them.
yeah, they
After
did change
3,
them.
I thought it was.
After 2.
After 2. You're
After
right,
2 overtimes, it's a normal 40-yard
After 2,
line.
go for 2.
After 2 overtimes, it's basically like sudden death.
Oh my
Each team
God.
gets a chance to rebuttal.
DK
from the
Metcalf just took the
2-yard
house.
line.
They said DK Metcalf was trash.
DK Metcalf just took a long ass touchdown in the house.
All right, sorry, go
But they
ahead.
do 2-point conversions, and they went to 9 overtimes.
Dude, that's crazy.
Illinois ends up pulling out the win, 20-18 against Penn State. It was tied at 10 in regulation, and then 2 field goals in the first, 2 OTs, and then pretty exciting stuff as they just battled out and could not punch it in from the 2-yard line. Eventually, a pass to the back of the end zone wins it for Illinois.
Ooh,
The fact they went like 4 straight overtimes without a single point.
that's crazy, dude.
Couldn't get a 2-point conversion.
Just can't get it in from
Just
2-yard
shows you,
lines.
dude, you can't hate on the Big Ten. I mean,
That's pretty cool.
you get Illinois, a scrum. It's going toe-to-toe with Penn State. I don't know, man. But I see here, I wanted to talk about this, see what your input was. UC and Oklahoma, they didn't look very good.
So UC and Oklahoma plays tight games against lesser competition. And I agree it's lesser competition. I think OU should have smacked Kansas, and UC should have beat Navy by a lot more points than they did.
Yeah.
And I think it doesn't help their playoff push.
I don't think so either.
I think UC's had such a great season that they actually let this one slide. I really do. I
Yep.
think they just let it slide. They had the game in hand, it just didn't look it on the scoreboard, if
Yeah.
that makes sense to you. But
I watched a little bit of it, not too much. I will say that no matter if it's UC or anybody, if you're a lower, what's the word I want to call, like not a Power 5 school, and you're competing for a top spot, like I've said it before, you're gonna have to smack the shit out of everybody to prove that you're there. So I guess a 7-point win by Navy or over Navy doesn't really help. But I'm also interested on how the committee thinks about the Oklahoma win over Kansas, because Kansas has been notoriously bad for very, very long time.
so they bumped Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I thought UC and Oklahoma was going to get bumped a spot or two.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I think Ohio State's going to bump some of us out here in a couple weeks because they've looked awesome. Ohio State's offense is probably the best in the league.
Yeah.
I mean, they're freaking insanely good.
That is interesting.
That's to go with complementary to their defense. Really, I don't know how Oregon beat them. I know Oregon's seriously good at football, but Ohio State has looked, ever since that loss, I mean, that shit kicked them in shape.
So does that make you nervous to see that UC is literally surrounded by Georgia, Alabama, and Ohio State?
I think Oklahoma makes me the most nervous just because I really think UC's a better team than Oklahoma. I don't necessarily think that about Ohio State, Georgia, and Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just hate to see Oklahoma just keep getting shit wins and end up in there.
Yeah.
That's the team I'm really worried about. I keep thinking they're going to catch an L, and they keep freaking battling back and winning games, and it's driving me insane. And I think, like you're thinking as well, I think one of the Big Ten teams gets in the playoffs. I think it's almost undoubted at this point.
I'm surprised that Alabama and Ohio State's kind of marched their way to knock on that number 4 spot. I can see. I mean, obviously, as of now, it's going to be Georgia, Alabama, and the SEC. I mean, I don't know who comes out of the Big Ten.
So Alabama will be interesting because they'd be a 2-loss team if they got beat by Georgia. And I really think it depends how close that game is.
Right. I think
if it's a close game, they're probably still making it a 2-loss.
I think if Ohio State loses another game, UC gets in regardless if they win out. Ohio State loses another game, has 2 losses.
Yeah.
I think UC can win out and they make it regardless.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think they would put a 1-loss Iowa in over an undefeated UC.
So we'll see. We'll see how things play out. We've kind of beat UC in because I love them and they're having a hell of a year and it's so fun to watch them. Bring it to Champ and Natty.
Griff, I just want to say real quick, Purdue they're frauds. So moving on.
They're Purdue football. Yeah, I just want to. I do want to say real quick. This is like the stereotypical Jeff Brown football team. They do the same thing when they beat Ohio State. They play a worse version of the team they're playing against. They just shit pumped and then they just lose. Like Wisconsin, for all intents and purposes, is just a way worse version of Iowa. Bad offense, gets carried by their defense in their run game, and all those aspects, they're way worse than Iowa, and they just throw up a dud. Terrible. Four turnovers. Can't do it. Bad. So sad. So mad.
Just want to talk about
first time we were ranked in fucking 8 years or whatever, and they throw a dud.
Not that anybody cares about Indiana, but Ohio State played Indiana. Just want to say,
they got shit.
Yeah, they got fucked.
That was a clowning. They got clowned.
But Indiana had their 4th-string quarterback in. What do you expect?
Probably better than their first string at this year.
I will just say, like, Ohio State clowned them.
Ohio State looks legit.
I'm very nervous to play Ohio State.
That's like putting a fucking helmet and shoulder pads on me and it's like, all right, buddy, go play Ohio State's defense.
I don't know. I think that guy was probably better than you.
I think so.
That 4th stringer is probably better than you, Zach. So I don't know about that one, Chief.
I don't know, man. I probably done a little better.
No, I'm just kidding.
Dude, I would love it. Let's fucking pat him up. Dude, let's send him up to... We're not that far from Ohio State.
Put my ass out there. I swear I'll do it.
You would literally die.
Dude,
you would literally die.
Now that would be a punishment. You have to kick return against Ohio State.
Dude,
fair catching that bitch.
You have to do Oklahoma drills against Ohio State's best offensive lineman.
Oh, man. If I had a good left
You better
tackle,
win your bets or you're going to have to kick return.
God.
Jackass style.
That'd be hilarious.
No blockers either.
No fair catches.
No fair catches.
No fair catch allowed.
No fair catches, no blockers.
All right, World Series. So I just want to say that Dusty Baker, dude, if you stick around long enough, it comes full circle. Dusty Baker played for the Atlanta Braves. Now he's the coach of the Houston Astros. Are they the Asterisks still? I mean,
yes.
Are they still cheating? We'll never know.
I hope the Braves win.
I hope that the Braves take every trash can out of that dugout and just say fucking play.
I hope the Braves sweep them
at all. I think that was kind of uncalled for to call them out for cheating. This playoffs, obviously they cheated last time. They should be the Houston Asterisks because they don't deserve that championship last time. This time they got a pretty dang good team out there, and we have the Astros and Braves squaring off tonight, the night you're listening to this, for the first World Series game this year. And I think that Astros are the better team. But, I mean, the Braves are hot. You never know. I mean, the Nationals got hot. The Nationals were definitely not the best team in the league when they won. So, Braves get hot. Maybe they can win. I mean, if you look it up from stats, if you're a stats nerd, Astros have the upper hand in almost every single category. Across the board, they're probably the better team. But once you get into the playoffs, Dodgers, they were the way better team, and the Braves took them down. So
I hope so. I hope the Braves sweep them.
I think everyone besides people in Houston are rooting for the Braves.
Have you seen that heat map?
Yeah, the heat map is just one little tiny spot for Houston.
Right over Houston.
And everyone else is Braves fans.
So I'm a little mad.
I saw that, and then the first comment was, don't forget us in Toronto also rooting for Braves. Because it was just a map of America.
A little mad at Atlanta right now. They could have spent a little less money. But right now, it's the number 10 payroll versus the number 11 payroll.
Dude, I'm telling you, like, it's all the good payroll teams did really good this year. Again,
Yankees, Dodgers, San Diego, Boston. I don't see them in the World Series.
There's only one of those teams that didn't make the playoffs, and that's San Diego.
Anyways,
Two of those teams.
I wasn't
made
trying
the
to make a point.
championship
I was
series.
just trying to say I wish that they were out of the top 10, so I could
They're
have been
not.
like, they fucking suck.
They're not, Zach, because you spend money, you win games.
Who do we think's winning?
I think the Astros.
I think the Astros are winning, but I'm rooting for the Braves so hard. Go Bravos.
So the only thing
4-0
that's-
sweep. I'm calling it Braves 4-0 sweep.
The only thing that's I'm holding on to the Braves is I'm just thinking back to when the Nationals won it, and I'm like, this seems just like when the Nationals won it. Seems like almost similar scenarios, but I think the Astros are probably the better team, and they're hot right now. Like they're really hot. Like they're hitting. Was that one guy's hitting like 600?
Eddie Rosario. He's balling.
Hitting like 600 in the playoffs so far, which is freaking absurd.
Their stadium sucks.
Astros.
Yeah.
I'm coming around to it. I hated it
You ever
when
been
they
to
had
it?
when they had
hill.
the fucking hill in center field.
Yeah.
I hated that. That was the dumbest design ever.
Braves
But no,
Stadium's
I
cool.
haven't.
Dude,
Braves Stadium's awesome.
there's nothing around it, like no bars, nothing. And it looks like you're sitting in a cubicle, and I hate it.
Braves Stadium's awesome.
And they got that dumbass train that comes out when
Just go back and forth.
like literally just,
You can go to the Braves Stadium. Braves new stadium.
yeah, I need to go there.
Super awesome.
What's a Turner Field, but
I've
not
been
the
to
new
Turner
one.
Field too.
All right, boys, anything else?
Nope. Close her out.
All right, Jake, close her out.
That's a Century and One coming at you from Gridiron Garage.
Gridiron
we
Garage
put
101.
the Gridiron back in the garage. Make sure to listen to Thursday's episode because we're dropping one this week. Also dropping death, taxes, and bets on Friday. So give it a listen. Hit us up on social media. Thank you.